Good morning, guys. Welcome to reading class. Let's talk about tall tales. What a tall tale is? Well, tall tale is a story that is very difficult to believe, like John Henry. A story that is very difficult to believe. A greatly exaggerated story. So a tall tale has a lot of exaggeration. This is semicolon, punto y coma. Punto y coma. Okay, it's a story that has a lot of exaggerations. An exaggerated tall tales is an exaggerated and humorous story that teaches a moral or lesson in which the main character is a superhuman, like John Henry. Remember that John Henry was born in one day, and in the same day he was born, he grew and grew, and was like an adult in the first day of his life. So he's a superhuman. He was very strong, very fast, and make unbelievable things just by using his force. Superhuman or larger than life. The character could have been made up or real person. Could have been made up, inventado. Okay, the character, the superhuman could be inventado. Characteristics of tall tales. So you have to copy this one, the first box, this box, and this one. Characteristics of a tall tale. Number one, humor. Number two, impossible situations.
Miss, what's the characteristic of
tall? Yeah, I make two checks here, and I said copy this and this. Impossible situations. Impossible situations. Characters with superhuman abilities and exaggerations, okay? Exaggerations. Okay? As soon the part we have read about John Henry, okay? The characteristic, the story is told in a plain way of speaking. Exaggerated events, well, that's why I'm going to tell you about him. That's what we says that is written in a plain way. There are widely exaggerated or impossible events. Like why? Like that John Henry was born one day and the same day he grew and grew. That's an exaggerated event because a person doesn't grow in one day, becomes an adult in one day. What else? See? Oh, baby John Henry jumps out of his mother's arm and starts growing. John Henry chopped down an acre of trees in one afternoon. An acre is
I know the last
one.
Lot of land. I know the last one. And a unicorn get out of the woods.
But exaggerated, it's something that is like impossible to do.
But I mean of the impossible events.
Well, it could be. But the last one that I have here is that he pulverizes a boulder with his hammer. Remember that the boulder that was mentioned in the story says that the people that was working there, opening the road, need half of a week to walk around it, to walk from one side to the other, half of a week. So it was exaggerated. It was enormous. And John Henry broke down, pulverized it with using his hammers. Look at this one, the hammers he had. This is the two hammers his father gave him when he said, I need to go out. I need to see what can I do in the world. So his father gave these two hammers, and using these two hammers, he pulverizes a boulder. Now, the exaggerated events are humorous. He grew until his head and shoulders went through the roof. There are some real life details. John Henry joined a road crew. That this crew was was building the road. He worked on the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. We haven't read this part. So let's continue. Let's continue reading the story. But look at these examples. Examples of tall tales. Molly Pitcher, the woman who fought the war. Paul Bunyan, the giant lumberjack. Lumberjack es un leñador. Pecos Bill. Pecos Bill is this man that rode a tornado. Rode a tornado like a horse.
That's of Disney. The one of the you said the last one. It was piece of Disney.
Yes, Santiago.
The last tale that you put is from Disney.
From Disney. Okay. Let's continue reading. Reading the book on page 247. 247. So if you have your book, open it.
Yes.
46.
Today I cannot read because I read yesterday.
Okay. So let me magnify. Let me magnify. Remember that word? Magnify from spelling. Let me magnify the story. Okay. So he's going to read. Maria Jose, did you read yesterday?
No.
Okay, let's start with you. Read the first paragraph, please. Finish here.
Okay. The dynamite made so much racket that
Almighty
looked over the parapets of the heaven and hurled. It's getting too noisy down there. The dynamite kicked up so much dirt and dust. It got dark. The moon thought night had caught her napping, and she hurried out so fast she almost bumped into the sun, who was still climbing the steep hill toward his
steep hill toward noontime. Steep es así, Ay, that's very steep. I live on a steep street. Es una cuesta, sí. It's very steep. Okay, so remember that yesterday when we stopped the reading, we read the part that the crew says, let us try with the dynamite, because John Henry says, okay, I will break up that rock. And they laughed because they couldn't believe he can do it. So they dynamite the rock and the explosion happened. So let's see if they really broke up the boulder. Okay. Hazel, continue, please.
When all the commotion from the dynamite was over, the road crew was amazed. The boulder was still there.
The boulder
was still there.
So it didn't work. In fact,
the dynamite hadn't knocked even a sheep of it.
Not, because you have to make a T sound. Not even
a chip of it. The crew didn't know what to do. Then they heard a rumbling noise. They looked around.
Another T. They looked
around. It was John Henry Logan.
Laughing.
He said, if you get to
you didn't read all the words. If you gentlemen
will give me a little room, I got some work.
Okay, if you Gentlemen would. Remember, this word has a silent L. If you gentlemen would give me a little room, so if you give me a little space, I got some work to do. Okay, so they have to walk back. Remember that when a verb finishes with K and you add ed, you have to make a T sound. Looked, walked. There was another one here. Knocked, this one. Knocked with T sound. Because sometimes you say look it, walk it. No, that's not correct. And walk has an L sound, silent L. It's not walk, no. Walked, looked, knocked. Okay. Don't see how you can do with what Dynamo couldn't, said the boss of the crew. Don't see how you can do what Dynamo couldn't, said the boss of the crew. John Henry chuckled. Just watch me. He swung like, that's what he did. He swung one of his hammers round his head, así, round his head, and it made such a wind that leaves blew off the trees and birds fell out of the sky. So he made it so strong and ring. The hammer hit the boulder. That boulder shivered, trembled like you do on a cold winter morning when it looks like the school bus is never going to come. Ring. The boulder shivered like the morning when freedom came to the slaves. What a comparison. What a comparison. Okay, Jose Enrique, continue.
Of this hammer, the boss of the row rocket of his mouth, dropped open. He pointed in the sky. There is in the air above the boulder was a rainbow John. Henry was swimming the hammers as so fast. While he was making a rainbow around his boulders. It was shining and shimmering is the do's and girls. I hope that never dies. John Henry started singing.
Continue.
Started singing. I finished the person.
Okay. Why he started singing? Because he broke up the rock, the boulder. People were amazed. How's that possible? It was something impossible. Dynamo couldn't do it. Isabella, continue.
Miss, no veo la pantalla.
You can see it now.
Yes, yeah.
You have to start the reading in this page here.
Here, I got a rainbow ring is around my shoulder. Ring.
tie around my shoulder. Mhm.
It ain't go rain. No, it ain't
Gone rain.
gone rain. Ring. John Henry sang and be hammered
And he hammered
and he hammered and the air danced and the rainbow shimmered
mhm,
and the earth shook the rollers from the blows of the hammer.
finally
Finally was
quiet.
quiet, slowly the dust cleared.
Okay, thank you. The dust, what number of pages is this one? The dust,
This, I think, is the page.
250. And finally, slowly the dust cleared. Folks, when folks is talking about people that were there, folks could not believe their eyes. The boulder was gone. In its place was the prettiest and straightest road they had ever seen. Okay, it's comparing this road with the rest of the road. That's what is using superlative. Yeah,
I can participate.
tomorrow because we have no time. The next class, not only John Henry pulverized the boulder into pebbles. Pebbles are small rocks. He had finished building the road. In the distance were the new road connecting to the main one. The road crew saw John Henry waving goodbye, a hammer on each shoulder. He was walking away. The rainbow wrapped around him like love. John Henry went on his way. He had heard that any man good with a hammer could find work building the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad through West Virginia. That was where he had been going when he stopped to build the road. The next day, John Henry arrived at the railroad. However, work had stopped. So we're gonna stop here. Let's continue discussing the questions, the last ones. 3 questions. Let's discuss them. Let's help me out to answer it. Please discuss. I didn't say copy. Discuss. Please.
Okay.
You need to study to listen. Why do you think John Henry challenges Ferret-Faced Freddy to a race? Why? Why he challenged him? He says, let's make a bet. Hagamos una apuesta. So he challenged Ferret-Faced Freddy. Why? Why do you think John Henry challenged him? So you didn't listen to the story. Well, we don't know how to say it because we don't know. We didn't listen. Why? John Henry is confident. What does confident mean? Confident means que yo confío en que yo puedo hacerlo. So I'm confident. I know that I can do it. John Henry is confident. He will win and wants Ferret-Faced Freddy to be nice for a year. Question number 2. How does Ferret-Faced Freddy change after he loses the race? How he changed?
He turns to be nice.
Yeah, he turned nice. So he also, people changed the way he called him. People call him, how did he call? Friendly, Freddy, something like that. John Henry sings as he works. What does this tell you about him? When you sing, it's because you are
Happy.
happy. Exactly. He's happy when he's working. That's why he sings. Okay, so remember the summary you have to make for the next week. You have to be ready for the presentations about the story. Okay, you have to be ready.
Okay.
Okay, how many we are? 21. Okay, see you the next hour.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, Miss.